Hello, Kate here. Today I'm going to show you how to get rid of a popcorn ceiling. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of popcorn ceilings, so I've been working through the house and getting rid of it over the years. My office space is the last place left I have to get rid of it, so I thought, why not film it and share my method of getting this done. For the first part of the project, you're going to need a spray bottle with water. And then I would suggest covering all your furniture and carpet with drop cloths of some sort because you will have some stuff falling onto the floor. And then you're also going to need a taping knife, okay? The taping knife I'm using is 10 inches wide because I can get more with each movement. And then I also went to the dollar store and I bought myself the lightest possible bowl I could find. This one's great because it's going to catch all of that stuff coming off the ceiling, whatever it is they call it. I'm going to start by spraying down the ceiling in sections. So I'll start off spraying one section and then I'm going to scrape it down after a few minutes, but then I'll also be spraying as I go, just making sure that the ceiling is continuously being moisturized. And the reason that you want to use moisture before you start scraping is because A, it controls the dust, and B, you're then going to avoid gouging the drywall versus if it was dry and you were just trying to scrape it across. One more thing, if there's any concern for asbestos, make sure you get it tested before you start scraping. And I do suggest, regardless of whether there's concern of asbestos or not, that you wear some sort of a mask when you're scraping. You can see here, it's not a massive room, which is perfect for filming. I'll also be replacing that light, it just hasn't been a priority, but you can see this has not been painted, and so it'll be pretty easy to remove. Now that the ceiling is completely scraped down, I'm going to go over it with some drywall compound and just touch it up in areas where I see that it's not perfectly smooth. This is bound to happen. Hopefully you can assess your ceiling before you scrape it and just make sure, okay, there's nothing major, no drywall sagging or anything like that, because sometimes this stuff does cover up some major imperfections. So just keep that in mind before you start scraping yours. The second part of the project is going to require drywall compound just for touch-ups. You'll also need your taping knife for that, and then sandpaper to sand it down, and then of course your ceiling paint. I want to show you something to watch out for when you're scraping and when you're patching up. Make sure that you patch up any of these nail spots. Those are the ones where the popcorn was sticking to them and maybe they were sitting in the drywall a little bit. So you just want to make sure those are leveled out. The other spot that I'm going to have to fix is just this line right here, because you can kind of see you can see the drywall tape. So I don't want to be able to see that when I paint the ceiling. I've got some drywall compound on my putty knife, and now I'm going to clean up this line here. It's just the drywall seam. I don't know if you can see these, but there's a whole bunch of staples in this ceiling. So there's a lot of that kind of patching I have to do. Okay, I've gone around, I've patched all those little holes. I hope you can kind of see over here. I did add some drywall compound along the seam between the drywall pieces on the ceiling, and of course all my staple holes are filled in. So I'm just gonna let this dry overnight, and then tomorrow I'll be giving it a good sand. Just a quick tip, you'll know that the drywall compound is dry when it goes white. You can see this spot up here is still gray in the center, so that means it's not ready to be sanded. Once it's all white, I'm good to go. It's the next day and I've allowed the drywall compound to dry completely. I'll now be using an electric sander with a fine grit sandpaper on it to sand down the entire ceiling. Then my next step will be to paint the ceiling with a flat ceiling paint, and I'll be replacing that light there with just a little chandelier, just to update it a bit. Everything is all sanded down, I've wiped it down, and now I'm gonna give it a quick paint. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, and you'd like to receive notifications whenever I post a new video on home maintenance or home renos, just hit that subscribe button down there. You can also follow me on Instagram at KDA_Designs. Thank you for watching.